Hey Jake, good to see you. I know after the game, we were talking about like what the plan was going to be for the week off. Bruce said it was very competitive, especially on Wednesday. He kind of smiled as he said that. Just what was this week like, and why was it so competitive on Wednesday, I guess?
We tried to normalize the week as best we could from a off day standpoint and create similar prep to what we've had leading into these games on on Sunday. So we were off yesterday, practice today, tomorrow. Due to the off day, we tried to do a lot of different competitive stuff on Wednesday, and guys competed. We got a competitive group, so it was good.
And then Bruce also said that he feels like this team knows how to win on the road after the Michigan State game. Do you feel that way too? And what kind of confidence do you have going in to Rutgers now?
I do feel like I do feel like we know how to win on the road, and I think the narrative that was surrounding these guys wasn't, I understand their results that go with that, but I don't think it was entirely fair. Um, the biggest thing is our aggressiveness at the end of the game, whether we've been up a possession or two or down a possession or two, we've stayed really aggressive, and our guys have bought into that. And there's a real belief and confidence right now. So when you have that and you go into a road game, specifically as hostile the environments are in this league, and Rutgers is certainly up there with some of the very best, you have to play with that mentality. And I think the mentality we've played with, you know, best sets us up to be successful on the road.
All right, we'll go Whitney Harding, then Andy Anders. Whitney.
Hey, Jake, I asked Bruce this question. I mean, you want to win every game. You're competitors. That's how it goes. But how much fun has it been this week to prepare for this Rutgers game? Because there's a lot now on the line with each of these games. So, how much more fun and different vibe has it been preparing for this game?
I think I think our guys are really embracing playing meaningful games this time of year. And it is fun. We're not, you know, we know what kind of opportunity is in front of us, but we also know how challenging this opportunity is. It is a very, very tough place to play against one of the very best defenses in the entire country. So there's some things that we have to really be intentional about working on this week, and we have so far, and we'll continue to do that. These next couple days, but we're not going to shy away from what's at stake. And certainly, we've talked about it. Each next opportunity has been the biggest one, and that hasn't changed. So our guys have had this same mentality for, the last handful of games.
You've known that this was in them. I mean, everybody on the program has made it clear that the talent has never been an issue. So, how great is it to see things clicking, but also seeing these guys having to prep and play these meaningful games and try to make sure you don't have to play that first round of the Big Ten tournament?
Well, I'm just really happy for them because they deserve to experience this, and they've earned the right to play in these meaningful games. And, you know, we saw last year, I think any kind of buy opportunity you have in the conference tournament's important, but it's not an end all be all by any stretch. But, right now we have momentum, and we want to keep that going, and we want to keep the kind of togetherness and toughness we've been playing with. We got to keep going. And what we've talked about is, okay, we're starting to play a couple more minutes of more together and more tough basketball. Like, we got to keep building on that. What we've done is not necessarily enough to go into Rutgers. Like, we have to find longer stretches. We got to, find a way to be a little bit better in those areas, especially on the road at their place, and then keep building on that going into the Big Ten tournament. But I think our guys have done a great job focusing on the task at hand. We're not spending time talking about, the Big Ten tournament. It's about Rutgers right now, and they've done a good job with that. So we got to keep that up.
We'll go Andy Anders and then Patrick Ingles. Andy.
Yeah, on this Rutgers team, you know, Bruce was talking about how important limiting turnovers will be in this game. Rutgers turns teams over, one of the top 30 teams in the country at doing that. So, how do you keep that balance between keeping that aggressive mentality that's been so successful for you guys these past few weeks and avoiding those types of mistakes?
Yeah, I think we have to play to our strengths, and we feel like it's an advantage for us to strike early. You know, what we have to do is we have to read crowds and read help defense at a high level. There's a toughness required with the ball in this game that, you know, maybe isn't as important as some games based upon the style of the defense we're going to see. But you got to be really tough with the ball. You know, they're great at turning turnovers into points, and you know, us getting our defense set is important, but it's going to come down to our ability to read the rim. You know, they have arguably the best or one of the best shot blockers in the country on their team, and so we got to read the rim well. Their activity on the ball, the physicality that, you know, we're anticipating, we'll be preparing for those things. But what I don't want is our guys going out there and trying to play safe, trying to play hesitant. Like, we need to stay aggressive. We need to play to our strengths. I think we're continuing to define that better and better. We didn't do that great the entirety of last game. You know, we wasted some possessions, and so we reference that and learn from film, and we'll continue to, you know, build upon that. But we got to stay aggressive, certainly.
You say it's tough with the ball. I guess what does that mean exactly?
Yeah. So to me, that means you have to embrace, you're going to get hit. You're going to get maybe what maybe fouls in your mind they're not going to call all those. Like, there's going to be a physicality to the game when you have the ball in your hands, and you're going to see heavy help. You're going to see active gaps, help defenders swiping at your dribble. You know, really they get a lot of deflections, and obviously the steals are well documented. So when I say tough with the ball, I think I'm talking about that. When you do drive and two guys collapse, you know, securing that, being strong, playing in a position of strength, you know, looking to find the next open guy. All of that stuff goes into it. And then, you know, in the paint, when it gets even more physical, you know, that toughness is required.
All right, we'll go Patrick Ingalls and then Steve Hellwagon. Patrick.
Yeah, hey Jake. Kind of going off of what you just said. So you're talking about Cliff Omarui and how you guys have to be strong inside the paint. So what really makes him an effective shot blocker? And maybe what have you seen this season from him that really jumps out to you as far as like his defensive abilities?
Yeah, I obviously he has great physical tools, but I think his instincts are really special. He's just, his physical tools help him be a really good shot blocker, but he's got great instincts. I think there's no denying that. And, you know, they've done a great job. His development's been impressive, but I think he has some things just naturally that have kind of solidified himself as one of the best now for multiple years. This isn't like a one-off thing. He's continued to get better. We have high level respect for him. And you know, we have to be aware of his strengths and his impact, the impact he's capable of having on the defensive side.
Let's check.
Steve Hellwagon, and we'll finish up with Adam Jardy. Steve.
Yeah, Jake, crunching the numbers, the 5 games that you've had, the scoring by the opponent is down by over 6.5 points, and that includes even an 88 in there by Minnesota, the game that you lost. Just, I guess that speaks how special the defense was in the other 4 games that you won. Just what is the difference, perhaps defensively, for you guys in this stretch? What's maybe changed, I suppose?
We've tried to be a little more aggressive, Steve, and within the system that we have tried to, you know, I think be a little more active, try to turn teams over a little bit more, which has helped fueled us, you know, on the other side. And then rebounding, you know, we were trending in a better kind of direction defensively there, but we weren't finishing plays well enough. And that hurt us in the Minnesota game. You know, we didn't finish plays well enough. We would guard for 23, 25 seconds. We'd force up a tough shot, and then we couldn't secure the ball. So we've heightened the accountability for rebounding these last handful of games, and our guys have embraced that. They wanted that, and so that's helped, I think. But finishing plays, I think you're seeing an aggressiveness that our guys are playing with defensively, and we have to continue to do that.
The minutes for Middleton and Royal are up, maybe 5 or 6. Of course, Middleton was banged up a little bit those previous few games, so that kind of held him out. But what are you seeing out of those two guys in particular? It looks like they're both providing some extra oomph for you right at the right moment, I guess.
Yeah, both of them are really tough, and they play really hard. And I think we've tried to go deeper into our bench because it felt like it could be a strength for us. But the urgency and the aggressiveness that our guys are playing with is, as it's forced us to give some guys some more opportunity, because I think guys are they're really giving everything they have out there. And it's we've had guys asking to come out of the game, which is a really good thing. But I think with Devin and Scotty, they provide some versatility on both sides of the ball. And Scotty's hit some big shots, behind the 3-point line in particular for us. And his shooting, is it's been a weakness for us, or we've lacked consistency at least this year. So, him being able to provide some consistency behind the arc has been important. And then I think Devin's, versatility offensively, his ability to score kind of in that mid-range game, almost starting to show some EJ Liddell, qualities in that space, and his ability to score around the rim. And as he continues to, expand his game, it'll be great for us. So I think both those guys provide some versatility, but they're both tough. They're two-way players. And they've earned those extra minutes.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right, Adam, we'll finish up with you.
Hey, Jake, thanks for doing this. The focus that you've talked about in practice, the aggression and all those things, how much do you lean on Bruce to get that out of guys? He kind of mentioned you put a little bit of that on his shoulders, but how much is that a result of what he's bringing to practice?
Yeah, he's a tone setter. I think him, the leadership of this team, it's not certainly exclusive to him, but his consistency is like, all-time great as far as consistently bringing his best stuff. I've talked about it. It's like kind of like how Aaron Kraft was, he just, and some of those guys who were just, I would imagine that's what Dave Lighty would have been like, and, things like that. So like the consistency he brings is really valuable, but our leadership has really helped set a tone. I think you're seeing guys talk more. I think Jamison Battle's voice and Roddy Gale's voice has become more impactful, and they're using it more. And so I've just really tried to encourage those guys to take ownership of it. Bruce is certainly a really important part of that. But part of the ownership is, how hard they're practicing, but, the pace that they're embracing, the pace at which we're practicing with, but also using their voice more. I think we've had some really good dialogue, even in games and in timeouts. We've had some good dialogue, and I think it's helped us.
When you do have a week where you get to focus like this and get some guys some rest, like how healthy are you coming out of this? Do you expect to be like fully available on Sunday?
As of right now, we expect to. And I've tried to have regular communication, almost daily communication with guys to get a feel for kind of where they're at, I think both physically and mentally. So, we got to have 2 great days of prep, and it's going to be really, really important. But we didn't want to, set ourselves back for Sunday by what we did at the beginning of the week. We wanted to take advantage of the opportunity for the rest, but we also, you're fighting to keep the momentum and the rhythm and those things. So it's a delicate balance. I think I feel like we're in a good position right now today. We'll see if I feel the same way after practice, but our guys have consistently practiced well, so I have no reason to believe we won't do that.
And one more thing real quick. I had a lot of fans ask me after the Michigan game, obviously you were able to empty the bench and play a lot of guys, and Taysom didn't get in the game. And I wondered, sometimes substitution stuff can get complicated, especially when you're trying to get minutes for seniors and things like that. But what went into Taysom not playing? And I think I saw you talk to him at one point, like on the bench there.
Yeah, we talked through that at the end of the game, and we're on the same page with that. You know, I think like all our guys, I've tried to have regular dialogue, and I think Tayson's done a great job staying ready, and what he's capable of. I feel it's been unfortunate what he's gone through this year, because he is a really talented player. And as you're seeing with some of our other freshmen who just had a whole kind of consistent year and chance to grow through some things, he missed such a significant portion of that. And it's not fair really, to him that he didn't get to grow through some of those things. And so he's going to be a phenomenal player. I really believe that he's handled everything really well, and he's got to stay ready for us, because I think he's going to have, hopefully some opportunity here coming up.
Thanks.
All right, Jake, thanks.
This is getting easier, guys.
Don't
Thanks
a lot.
Getting a little easier.
Don't say that. They'll hit you with the hard ones next time.
Oh, all right, Gary. Gary, you're in charge. You can't let him do that to me. All right.
Well, you're not supposed to say it's easy. That's the thing.
You need to coach me better then.